Devil Hunters, after unspeakable tragedy and pain, Chainsaw Man returns with a bloody vengeance in chapter 152 titled Massage. Welcome into 2024. I hope each and every one of you had a fantastic holiday, a happy new year. And for everyone who supports the channel, thank you so much. Yeah, you over there, you over there, you over there who gets excited when I say Devil Hunters, welcome to Chainsaw Man chapter. Yeah, I see all of you. Now, after almost a 3-week hiatus, what better way to ring in the new year with Chainsaw Man really putting these hybrids to shame? Could it be because of the recent power amp that he received when the Fire Devil got stronger? Or perhaps maybe it's that inner demon that Denji gets to unleash, as he does say in this chapter, well, Pochita, am I really a bad guy that my pets in my house are burned inside and yet I feel like $1,000,000? There's a lot to digest here, but let's go ahead and take it to the top as Denji transformed back into Chainsaw Man, scaring off nearby bystanders in the process. We see Miri, Sugo, and the Spear Hybrid release Fumiko as they transform into their hybrid forms. Seeing that their situation has worsened, Nayata tells Denji to flee, but Denji refuses. As Nayata is taken to safety by a bystander, this is where, as I mentioned earlier, Denji starts monologuing with Pochita about his current situation, but yet feels grateful to be Chainsaw Man once again. We see Miri and the Whip Hybrid both charge at Denji, and as Denji fends off the initial attacks, Denji is caught off guard by the Spear Hybrid, piercing him from behind. Despite this, Denji cuts both him and the Spear Hybrid in half and proceeds to consume the Spear Hybrid to regenerate his wounds, shocking everyone in the area. Now, whether this is a callback to the Katana Man arc when Denji held Katana Man henchmen hostage and then Katana Man flashed the two, or rather because of that specific moment, now he got the insight, well, if I'm cut in half and I immediately consume the blood of another devil, I'm going to be okay. And quite frankly, he can do that. Now, I think some people here might think we just saw him consume the Spear Hybrid. Is he gone for good? Is he erased? We don't know all the answers to that. Initially, I want to say no, because that is reserved for the Black Chainsaw Man. But as I mentioned previously, and some of you did push back on it, is Pochita truly gone, or was Denji just waving metaphorically to the life that he's had for so long is going to be gone? Because, well, unfortunately, when you're Chainsaw Man, there's no such thing as an ordinary life, which does make Denji feel good, but now that also comes with a lot of consequences as well, such as Nayata being put in danger, his pets being taken out, and who knows what else awaits him, perhaps with Asa and Yoru. Nevertheless, people are shocked by Denji's actions, but to be fair, we've just spent so much of part 2 so far, especially in this latest arc with Denji being repressed. So look, let him unleash himself. Let him be at his core the selfish Chainsaw Man that he just been wanting to be so bad. Even if some of the actions that he does in this chapter, or more specifically the conversation he has with Nayata, seems a bit harsh, I think he just in his element right now. He's in his zone, right? You know, you can look at it like Bruce Banner transforming into the Hulk. Immediately when Bruce Banner transforms to the Hulk, he doesn't control himself, right? He immediately goes into rage mode. Right now, I would argue this is what we're seeing with Denji. Denji's finally Chainsaw Man. He gets to do whatever he wants. He does politely tell Nayata, hey, I'm gonna need you to back off. And then, you know, again, more abrasively, where he's like, hey, you gotta leave because how I'm feeling right now is very selfish, and what I want to do is just kill and destroy anyone in my way. Now, what are the ramifications that could come about this? For Nayata feeling betrayed, for her to now be angry at Denji, for her to be angry at the world, we'll have to wait and see, but I do love how the breadcrumbs for that has now been established. Anyway, back to the chapter. Horrified, the Whip Hybrid tries to strike Denji down with a whiplash, but he swiftly dodges the attack. He then cuts off the Whip Hybrid's leg before delivering a brutal beatdown by repeatedly slamming his chainsaws into her body. Seeing that the other weapon hybrids have been defeated, an enraged Miri charges at Denji, with the two of them impaling each other using their respective weapons, but Denji prevails as Miri goes limp. And well, what can you say here? Another callback to part 1. A lot of people have been showing that manga panel of Denji and Aki clashing, and now we see it here too. That's a nice callback, or it looks roughly similar anyway. But let's talk about Miri, as if I didn't already have my reservations about the guy. And I think a lot of people see what has been planted with this character, where he's easily being manipulated. He has his own free will. He thinks he's doing stuff for Denji. You know, we even saw in what, 1 or 2 chapters ago, he's telling Denji, we're burning down your own house for your own good, with the whip hybrid immediately laughing at Miri saying, oh my god, you believe this? And Miri not even challenging that notion. But now, after all of that, Miri still decides to charge at Denji because he still thinks he's doing the right thing. And I'm surprised, I guess kudos to Miri that he doesn't back off when he sees his fellow colleague get decimated pretty easily. But he goes full force. Yeah, he does damage Denji, but this is a deranged Denji right now, loving the pain that he's putting himself under. And yet, this is still all to say, when is Miri gonna turn on the side of the public safety devil hunters, or at least be on Team Denji anyway, right? If he doesn't like public safety, that's one thing. The more and more I see Miri do things in part 2, the more I get disappointed with his character. Granted, this could still be Fujimoto saying, but wait for that moment where he's gonna protect Asa or Nayata or whoever. And hey, you know what? Now that I say that out loud, can you imagine if one of the good things that Miri might do before he ends up ultimately dying in this story is protecting Nayata because Denji's now on a rampage? Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments down below. But speaking of Nayata, worried Nayata does call out to Denji, and then, you know, Denji goes on about giving massages to other people. And he basically tells Nayata, when it comes to massages, too much force, they hurt, but there's always a sweet spot where the pain turns into pleasure. And as Denji tells Nayata, you shouldn't be around me anymore because this is right now where all the pain that he's experiencing also feels pretty damn good. Now, give it to Fujimoto to make an analogy about massages and deep tissue massages specifically, where it's very painful in the beginning, only for afterwards when you walk out, you feel pretty damn good. And if that is the metaphor, especially that came out of Denji's mouth, is experiencing, well, you gotta give it up for Denji. When he says, Nayata, you can't be here right now. I don't want you to be here. Hang out with me. My interpretation so far is that he just needs Nayata to leave because daddy's home and he has to be a menace. With 3 out of the 4 weapons hybrids being decimated pretty easily. I know I keep on harping on Reze with the recent announcement of the Chainsaw Man movie. And is Reze around the corner? I still think Reze is going to appear. When? I don't know, because I think I totally could have seen Denji getting overwhelmed with Reze showing up at the end of this chapter, but that was totally wrong. And Barum is lurking around, and of course, where is Asa and Yoru? Will they come towards the fire because they now sense Denji being enraged? And despite after having a 3-week break, the bi-weekly devil has struck in again. And there's 2 things I actually want to mention with that, because some people did notice how some of the paneling going on in the fight sequences in this chapter looked a little rough and a little hard to interpret. It took me a good, 2 or 3 times to read the chapter to really actually see what was happening, for people to further hint that maybe Fujimoto is a bit burnt out. I mean, he just had 3 weeks and we're gonna get the next chapter in 2 weeks. So some of the rough paneling happening in this chapter an indication that Chainsaw Man might be in trouble for 2024. I think that's a bit too premature to say, but there's only one way to find out. I'm still confident that Chainsaw Man is in full swing in 2024. And if you made it this far, you might as well stick around to see what more stuff I have to say in the live discussion later on this evening. Take care.